So have you ever been invited to maybe attend a consumer event as an agent or some other type of event, maybe a craft fair or be in a parade or do some type of bridal show to get clients for your travel business? Well, are you a little overwhelmed by that? I remember doing my first bridal show and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because think about it, we've seen people hand out, little tchotchkes, give out postcards, give out prizes, sign up for email newsletters and things like that. And it's really overwhelming on how to go about designing some type of system when you can do your consumer event. So I'm going to give you 3 ways, kind of like a crash course to kind of crush consumer events. And I do a big whole month-long module on this in the Travel Biz Impact Membership Academy. But today I want to give you those basic things so you can just get going today. Okay, so if there's like a parade in town with a little craft fair after and you can get your name out there, just something for you to do right now to get going when it comes to consumer or even networking events, okay, where you're actually displaying your booth and giving out your information in the hopes of gaining customers. So when I started doing this, I thought, here's my thought. I did my first bridal show thinking that somebody would come and book their honeymoon with me. How stupid is that? Now, if you're thinking the same thing, it's okay. We've probably all thought that at one time, expecting to get a booking from going to a consumer event. But I'm here to tell you, just get that out of your head. Don't focus on that at all. A lot of people will say, oh, I went to the show and nobody booked with me, so I'm not doing those shows again. And I'm like, no, wait, stop. So if you put your mind into the mind of the consumers, they're coming to, let's just take a bridal show or whatever consumer event it is, but they're coming for a purpose, whether it's to get information, whether it's to go find a DJ or whatever it is. They're not necessarily saying, hey, let me look for a bridal show or a consumer event where I can go book a honeymoon or book my family vacation. That's not what they're there for. So we need to figure out what they are there for and then serve that purpose, okay? So first of all, let it go. You're not gonna get most likely any bookings right at the show. Okay, so my very first thing, so that was just kind of a little preview because I made that mistake and I was really bummed. I was like, nobody booked their vacation with me. All right, so the very first thing that you can do and you should do when you're invited or when you sign up for some type of consumer event like a bridal show, you're going to have to think of one goal that you want to achieve, because if you are feeling overwhelmed already, chances are you're thinking, okay, well, I want to, book consultations. I want to get them on my email list. I want people to know who I am. I want to talk to people, meet people, hand out business cards, whatever, give them supplier brochures. And that can get overwhelming. And it is overwhelming both for you and the people coming to your table. They don't want to drink from a fire hose and get all this information. So you need to get really clear on what you can do to make that event successful for both you and your prospects, okay? My goal always is to get email addresses, okay, of the most ideal clients there. We're going to talk about that in just a second. So what I want to do, step number 1, is prepare to get email addresses some way, somehow, okay? You can do that either through a lead magnet like we talk about in the academy or even in our free Facebook group. And, just something saying, if you give me my email address, I'll give you this. Or you can do it through a prize giveaway where you can give away maybe a piece of luggage or something related to travel. The only word of caution with that is that likely you'll get people just signing up to get the prize and they're not really interested in you. So you can, choose how you want to do that. But some way you need to decide, okay, here's what I'm going to do to collect emails while I'm there. And that should be your goal. You want the emails of the hottest prospects. And that leads us to step number 2. You want the hottest prospects. So how are you going to figure that out? You need to, and write this down, have some questions ready to qualify them. Yes, you're going to do some qualifying when you're at this consumer event, meaning when they come to your table and they're kind of, you've seen them, right? They're coming and they've got maybe a bunch of stuff they've gathered from other tables and they're like looking around for the free stuff. Or maybe they're just staring at you waiting for you to talk, because that's what's going to happen. You need to be ready with a set of questions that you can ask these people and really, tune in on who they are and if they would be somebody that you would like to work with. Okay, I'll tell you on my end, when I go to a bridal show, there's like more people I don't want to work with than I do. And that's okay. I don't judge them when they come to the table, because I've had some people that I thought would not be my customer turn out to be my best customers. All right. So don't judge them when they come to the table. Ask them some qualifying questions. So I recommend giving 5 questions, having 5 in your head, and they can be just simple little things, okay? So for me at a bridal show, I could say something like, because my table will be all-inclusive themed, and I'll say, oh, are you looking to go on an all-inclusive vacation for your honeymoon? And they either say something like, oh, I don't know, I haven't thought about it, and then that will prompt another question. Or no, we're kind of, planning a road trip across the country. And I'll be like, oh, okay, well, good luck with that. I don't really specialize with that. And I move them through. Okay, so when I find out they're not my ideal client, it's not that I don't ever want to work with them, but in that moment, I'm paying for that booth so that I can get a return on my investment as soon as possible. And I want the brides that are ready to book their honeymoons to an all-inclusive spot in the Caribbean or Mexico. Okay, so you need to get really clear on who you want to talk to. Decide your questions to qualify them, and then move people along quickly that are not your ideal clients. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Then lastly, you're doing all this for a purpose, right? The last thing you want to do is come home with all these emails and have nothing to do with it. Okay? Okay, great. I got these emails. Now what? You need to have a plan in place before you go to that consumer event. So I personally have at least 4 emails. Now I have a whole slew of them because I've done so many of them. I just keep adding to them. So at least 4 emails to go out as soon as possible. So that will be something like what I recommend would be taking a picture of your booth saying, hey, we met at the bridal show, here's my booth, and we chatted about this, whatever. And you have 4 emails ready to go out about your business and how they can benefit from being part of your business. All right. So again, those 3 things, make sure you have one goal, and usually I'll recommend get emails at the consumer event. Have a way to do that, a lead magnet. But then you want to qualify them with some questions that you've already thought of ahead of time so you can talk to the people that you're most interested in serving, and then have those 4 emails ready to go. Here's my bonus tip. If you want to look like a freaking rock star, excuse my language, I look like a rock star every time I am the very first one who sends out an email. And you know how I know this? Okay, so they're at this bridal show talking to all these people. If there's other travel agents there, I want to be the first one in their email. So I have all these emails all ready to go, and I sit down at the end of the show at my table after I've torn everything down, and I input those bad boys in whenever possible. Okay, so even if I've been there 8 hours, whatever, my big bridal shows are usually 8 hours long. I will sit at that table and I will input them into my automated email sender, okay? And put them in my funnel right away. I'll also go home and type out specific emails individual to that person, but that's how I land in their inbox, and they're like, oh my gosh, I just met this person today, and here's an email like 2 hours later or whatever. Then they feel special, and that's my goal, is to make them feel special. All right, so that was my little bonus tip. So if you need more help figuring out how to do things like, I'm a newbie, how do I do this? How do I get leads? How do I create a lead magnet? Hop into our Facebook group if you're not there already. It's for new travel agents about 2 years or less in the business. Go to facebook.com/groups/tips for travel agents, okay? And if you're on Instagram, that link will probably be in the bio. Just hit that link and you can find our Facebook group there. But again, that's facebook.com/groups/tips for travel agents, and I would love to have you there.